You've just been born in 404 BCE Sparta, the most feared city in Greece. At least, that's what the poets say. The war is finally over. Athens has fallen. Your elders call it the dawn of a new age. But this dawn feels a lot like dusk. Your father limps home after 20 years of fighting, for glory, for honor, for a nation that now can't even feed him. He carries no gold, no plunder, just a half-healed scar and a ration of barley that tastes like dust. The city throws parades no one enjoys. The statues shine, but the storehouses are empty. Every victory song sounds a little thinner, every cheer a little quieter. Soldiers march through the streets in tattered cloaks, men who conquered the greatest navy in Greece, now expecting food from the helots they're supposed to rule. In the field, the helots whisper. They whisper about rebellion, about the gods turning away from Sparta, about how even the strongest can rot from the inside. They tried once when an earthquake killed more than half your population. Your grandfather's generation struck it down. You're too young to understand it, but the empire you were born into is already dying. So, welcome to Sparta. You've arrived just in time to watch it fall apart. As a Spartan, there's always a test. You survived the first test, the one no one remembers. As a newborn, you are lifted toward the light while an elder inspects your limbs, your skull, your spine. If you'd cry the wrong way, they would leave you at the foot of Mount Tagetus, a sacrifice to efficiency. But you breathe evenly, strong enough, useful enough. So you live. Congratulations. Your mother raises you quietly. She doesn't sing. Spartan mothers aren't supposed to. Instead, she teaches you posture, silence, and how to stare without blinking when other children cry. You learn that laughter is dangerous. It makes you look human. By 6, you already know hunger. The helots farm your food, but you're taught to despise them for it. You're told a true Spartan doesn't rely on slaves, as you eat the bread they baked that morning. The contradictions don't bother you. You're too busy practicing how to stand perfectly still for hours. Then comes age 7, the cutoff, the end of softness. They take you from your mother's arms without ceremony. No tears, no goodbyes, no looking back. You're now property of the Agogi, the great Spartan machine that turns children into weapons. The elders shave your head, strip your clothes, and tell you that comfort is a foreign disease. You sleep on reeds. You eat what you can steal. If you're caught, you're beaten. Not for stealing, but for getting caught. Pain is your first language. Obedience, your second. You march barefoot in winter, chant hymns about discipline while your stomach gnaws itself hollow. You learn to kill animals, then spar with boys your age until one stops breathing. They call it training. You call it unnecessary bloodshed. By 13, you've watched friends die of infection, starvation, exhaustion, and the instructors call it purification. The weak burned away so the strong can remain. No one cries. You don't even know how to anymore. You've been molded into silence, sharpened into shape. The elders say you're becoming a true Spartan, but you're not becoming anything. You're being erased, one lesson at a time. At 16, you finished the Agogi. You've spent nearly a decade bleeding in the dirt, and now you get a red cloak, the color of victory, the color of warning. They say you're a man now. You feel like a ghost wearing bronze. Your life becomes a rhythm. March, drill, obey. Every scar is a badge, every hesitation a sin. Your officers don't praise you. They nod. Barely. That's all you're worth. At 17, you're sent beyond Laconia for the first time. Asia Minor, Corinth, Thebes. The names blur together. Everywhere looks the same. Burned fields, starving villagers, men pretending they still believe in honor. You dream of visiting Athens. not as an enemy, but as something alive, bright, full of sound. Then you remember, those people are subjects now. Their sons polish Spartan armor. Their daughters weave your funeral cloth. At 18, you finally see Athens, not as a dream, but as a corpse. The walls are torn down, its navy burned, its people starved into silence. You stand beside Lysander as he installs the 30. They swear loyalty to Sparta. They smile like snakes. Within weeks, the blood starts. Critias, once a philosopher, now kills for efficiency. You watch him execute his own friend for softness. You don't stop him. You can't. You wear the crest of the empire, and the empire has no conscience left. You march through ruined cities Sparta liberated. The people don't cheer. They hide their food. They hate you quietly. You can smell it. Resentment under the smoke. You fight fellow Greeks more than Persians now. Actually, right now it feels like the Persians are the ones pulling the strings. First, they support Sparta with coin to build its navy against Athens. Next, they support the Athens-Thebes alliance to rise against Sparta. Your elites complain, but still, order soldiers to quell rebellions. They call it maintaining order. You call it killing yesterday's allies. Back home, the elders say you're bringing order to Greece. You tell yourself the same thing. But you know it's Persian order. Spartan doesn't mean hero anymore. It means invader, tyrant, executioner. Cities that once prayed for your arrival now pray for your death. Every year, another revolt, another campaign, another victory that feels like a loss. Your pay is your continued citizenship and promises that Sparta will last forever. But forever feels smaller every day. The ranks thin. Too many names never return from the field. Even the veterans look empty, reciting discipline like prayer, because the truth is unbearable. You win battles. You lose everything else. Glory isn't a reward anymore. It's a leash. Polished, heavy, unbreakable. You were trained to conquer. No one told you conquering meant becoming the jailer of your own ruin. Inside Sparta, the rot grows louder. The ephors, those 5 gray old men, see rebellion everywhere. They ban travel, luxuries, foreign speech. They execute reformers in the night and call it purification. They send spies into every barracks, every home. And while they preach simplicity, they gorge on silver and Persian gold. You, the soldier, still live on barley and pride. They, the rulers, live on silk and fear. You used to believe discipline made you strong. Now it just keeps you obedient. Every order feels smaller. Every victory feels faker. You fought for equality, for the perfect city of warriors. But when you look around, all you see is paranoia wrapped in bronze. You realize Sparta won the war, and then built a cage sturdy enough to hold itself captive. The wars might have ended, but the hunger doesn't. The mess halls are half empty now. Where there were once rows of laughing brothers, you hear spoons scraping wood. You can't till your own land. The law forbids it. Manual labor is for inferiors, not citizens. So you stand on a hill of dead laws, watching your stomach betray you. The rich get richer. Old generals buy up the estates of men who died fighting for them. From 8,000 true Spartians, fewer than 1,000 remain. Decades of war killed off fathers and sons. And the law that made you strong refuses to bend. Inheritance rules means land will only go to sons, and most families had none left. No trade, no work, no reform, just men too noble to live and too stubborn to die. Each one clutching his birthright like it still means something. The council calls population collapse a purification. You call it extinction. The army that once ruled Greece now can't fill a single formation. But the law still says only citizens may fight. So the army dies on paper before it dies in battle. You trained for glory. You got scarcity. You thought the hunger would break Sparta. You were wrong. Fear did it faster. The E-Force see enemies everywhere, except within themselves. Every whisper is treason. Every question, a confession. You've executed your own friends for un-Spartan softness. You tell yourself it's your duty. You tell yourself it's justice. You stop believing yourself halfway through the sentence. Talk of reform, and you're exiled. Look too long at a foreign coin, and you're whipped. Even laughter sounds suspicious now. The veterans drink in silence, counting ghosts instead of victories. You used to dream of battlefields. Now you dream of not being noticed. And yet, in the middle of this, you have a son. Not for love, for duty. You tell yourself you are helping, doing your part to rebuild the Spartan population one child at a time. Years pass, and you turn 32. Your son is 7 now, the same age you were when they took you away. You watch him run drills with a wooden spear and wonder if he'll live long enough to hold a real one. You wonder what kind of world you've given him. A city terrified of its own shadow. A legacy carved from stone and fear. Greece used to say the walls of Sparta were built for men. Now those men are crumbling. You spar with your son and feel the dust on your hands. It happens suddenly, or maybe you've all seen it coming. Sparta has been bossing the rest of Greece around for 30 years. They're tired of your meddling, your arrogance, your endless wars. So they form alliances. You hear of the king of Persia, Artaxerxes II, orders Sparta to disband it. You try to with words. They decline. So Greece does what Greece always does. What you always do. It goes to war. This time, it's Thebes who lead, the city you used to laugh at. You call them provincial. They call you finished. But you're not alone. Martinia, Argos, and other Arcadian cities rally behind them. Even your old enemies in Athens send men to watch you fall. You don't have enough real Spartans left to file a single phalanx. So you drag in everyone you can. Helots are promised freedom if they survive. Periiki, the almost citizens, the ones who trade since Spartites are forbidden from trading, fight because they must. Allied contingents from the Peloponnesian League, who hate you more than the enemy. You tell yourself it's still the same Sparta. It's not. Still, you all march. The sun rises over the plain of Leuctra, dry, level, merciless. This is where you'll battle. Your king, Cleombrotus I, lines you up in the old way. Spartan elite on the right, allies stretched thin across the field. You've won 100 battles like this before. Straight lines, iron discipline, predictable perfection. Across the plain, Thebes does something strange. Epaminondas, their commander, stacks his army deep. 50 ranks instead of 12. A moving wall of spears concentrated on one side. At the front stands the sacred band. 300 elite lovers and soldiers, sworn to fight and die together. Yes, lovers. You laugh when you see them. Then they start moving. The Theban left wing surges forward like a bronze hammer. Their cavalry smashes yours before you even brace your spears. The ground shakes under the weight of that impossible column. You watch your right flank. The invisible Spartans crumble in real time. Cleombrotus is struck down, his royal guard folding around him as the Theban pikes strike through. The signal to advance never comes. No one knows who's in command. You hold your shield tight, waiting for the push that always comes. But this time, it doesn't stop. The Theban wedge slams through your lines, splitting your formation like rotten wood. You try to rally, to hold, to be a Spartan. But your left is already gone. Your allies are running. The dust turns red and blinding. Then it happens. Something no one in Greece thought possible. The Spartan phalanx breaks. You see men drop their shields, the one thing they swore never to lose. You feel yours slip, and you know what that means. When it's over, 400 true Spartiates, nearly half of what's left of your kind, lie dead in the dirt. The rest flee home, not from fear of Thebes, but from fear of what awaits them in Sparta, because you know how your people treat survivors. A Spartan who lives through defeat isn't called a veteran. He's called a trembler, and you're one of them. You don't fear death. You fear survival. The battlefield at Leuctra is quiet now, but your world has already ended. The myth of Sparta dies here, not with fire, but with the sound of retreating footsteps. You return home to a city of widows. The gates are open, but no one cheers. No fields, no slaves, no sons. The only thing fertile in Sparta is grief. The news spreads faster than your march. Epaminondas, the Theban you mocked, has done what Athens and all your enemies failed to do. He marches south, frees the Messenian helots, and builds new cities on the land that once fed you. Messenia, the heart of your empire, gone overnight. You don't just lose land, you lose your reason to exist. Without slaves to farm, the warriors starve. Without war to fight, the warriors rot. And without warriors, Sparta is nothing at all. In the Agogi, boys still chant the old songs. Come back with your shield or on it. But no one believes it anymore. Once Greece trembled when you marched. Now no one bothers to look. Sparta doesn't fall in flames. It just fades. Each year, fewer citizens. Each funeral, another empty name on the roll of Spartians. You see it now. Sparta didn't die in Leuctra. It died the moment it mistook discipline for meaning. The moment obedience replaced soul. The moment perfection became chains. You were born to conquer, but you ended up conquering yourselves. The greatest warrior culture in history died of its own perfection. You died decades later, bitter, old, dreaming of the good old days. Your son's generation tries to get back those good old days. They fail, and so does the next generation after them. It is at this point Greece accepts that the once mighty Sparta of old is truly dead and buried. Centuries pass. Rome rises, studies your ruins, and copies your drills. Philosophers call you virtuous. Tourists call you legendary. Gamers call you badass. But you know the truth. You weren't gods of war. You were men who forgot how to live. And when the fighting stopped, so did you. The spears rust, the songs fade, the ghosts of Sparta march on, perfectly aligned, forever disciplined, forever dead.